Hello,
Ira?
everyone. Welcome to another episode of TLC. And TLC is Think, Listen, Communicate. And why we started this? Because I was doing the other way, communicating, right? After somebody would finish talking, and then after that, so we said, no, this is not the right way of communicating. So, to improve our communication, we need to think first, listen to others, what they have to say, and then communicate. So, in today's show, we have with me Harvinder. He is joining us. And then I have Sahil. Sahil is joining us from Toronto. And Sahil and I, we started Close Look. I'm going to speak a little bit in Punjabi also. And Sahil, you can speak in Punjabi or Hindi, whatever language you feel comfortable in. मैंने और
Okay.
साहिल ने क्लोज लुक शुरू किया था और आज मुझे इतनी खुशी हो रही है कि साहिल इज़ जॉइनिंग अस और ये अब से हमारे साथ प्रोग्राम्स किया करेंगे, हमें जॉइन किया करेंगे एंड जो भी आपके टॉपिक्स हैं आप हम तक पहुंचा सकते हैं और हम उसके बारे में जो भी हमारी राय है या हमारी ऑडियंस की ओपिनियन है वी विल शेयर दैट विद यू। एंड व्हाई वी डू ऑल दिस बिकॉज हमें अपने जो हमारे थॉट्स हैं उसके साथ साथ दूसरों की जो ओपिनियंस हैं उनके थॉट्स के बारे में जानना भी ज़रूरी है। सो इट्स ऑल टू इम्प्रूव कम्युनिकेशन। जब हम कम्युनिकेशन की बात करते हैं तो आजकल लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल दे आर स्टक इन देयर हाउसेस, दे आर वर्किंग फ्रॉम होम, आपके पार्टनर्स भी घर पे हैं, तो वी वांटेड टू नो हाउ इज़ योर रिलेशनशिप विद योर पार्टनर। तो इस मौके के दौरान कोविड-19 कोरोना वायरस 19 के दौरान अगर आप घर पे हैं तो आपका अपने स्पाउस के साथ रिलेशनशिप बेटर हुआ है कि वर्स हुआ है, दैट्स ऑल। हम अपने अपने थॉट्स शेयर करेंगे बट मैंने साहिल तक आपको इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया, उसके साथ हमारे साथ कमल जी भी हैं, कमल स्टेज स्पा से एंड इरा आर फैमिली मेम्बर, our close look member is with us, and Alicia. Alicia ko to you hear her every Sunday in Sweet Culture with Dan and Dustin. So if you want to be part of that show, you can do that as well. तो आज का टॉपिक है और उसके बारे में टॉपिक मेन जो है उसके बारे में बातचीत शुरू करेंगी हरविंदर।
Okay, you want me to start?
यस प्लीज।
So you're saying, talking about how the relationship has evolved for people when they're stuck at home right now?
Harvinder, yesterday I was listening to the radio and they were saying that domestic violence has increased by 30% during this past 2-3 months. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. That was the biggest concern I think the government and the non-profit organizations had starting when we first started the lockdown. That was the biggest concern from those organizations that people um, at home, women at home who are in abusive relationship will be stuck now and could be much worse for them. And they wanted the police and other people to understand that that something can happen. And that's something that going forward we all kind of knew was going to be happening. But the interesting study that I heard yesterday on the radio was one big radio stations in Vancouver here did a survey, and they surveyed single people who live together, single people who are in a committed relationship but don't live together, and then just single people. And they found that single people in committed relationships and those who live together but they're single are the highest spike in people who are looking for new partners in their life, which just kind of makes you wonder what's going on for people stuck at home with their significant other and what kind of toll that is taking on people right now.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that this will improve the relationships because now you have more time to communicate with each other, to bond. You can go for walks, you can cook together, clean together, do things together. So it should strengthen the relationship.
I think in a perfect world that would happen. But think about it when you are in a relationship with someone or you're living with another person, half the whole week you're gone 40 odd hours, right? 50 hours you're not around each other. You're gone all day. You come home, you're tired, exhausted. You only have a window of about 4 or 5 hours you spend time together from dinner to later sitting watching something. Then you're in bed by 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's not enough time to kind of have an ongoing feud or start one and keep it going. But if you're at home 24/7, there's lots of time to pick or nitpick on things that will drive us crazy on normal days, but it's driving us more crazy because the other person is there 24/7. I think
Sa-
that's what's happening.
Sahil, what do you think?
So it's very interesting what Harvinderji is saying right now. And it's funny enough that I was just doing a workshop in a webinar form this morning. It was about well-being. So quite interestingly, we were talking about the different elements of well-being, how people are actually going through it in different phases. Not everybody's starting at the same point, and not everybody is in the same phase in their lives. So we talked about social well-being, the mental and the physical well-being. So how I personally connected it on two levels. The first level, which I would probably you can call it a bit scientific, is the interpersonal relationships that are at play. I think they are mostly highlighted at this moment when people are socially isolated. They're all sitting at homes with each other. So these three, they're actually taking place in three levels further. Number one, the level of inclusion. So it's a sense of belongingness. Number one, so what is happening is everybody has a different degree of the preference they have in this kind of behavior, the inclusive behavior. You are different, I'm different. Some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, some people are ambiverts, right? So what happens? So when two people, no matter, regardless of it's a romantic relationship, it's a relationship with your family, your parents, your siblings, no matter who they are, if you put it all together for such long times, so imagine what happens if I have a lower degree of preference of being included in somebody else's activities, and suddenly everybody's sitting in my face and trying to bring me into their own, activities, whether it's bringing me into the kitchen or, getting me engaged in doing some puja, whatever it might be. So I will feel literally suffocated and out of place. And same similar thing might be happening with other person too. So that's one element of it. The second element is about the influence, right? So you can call it the power dynamics. Everybody has different kind of power dynamics in their own homes. I think women are the queens at home, as we always say traditionally, uh, especially in the modern times, which is great.
Yes.
So same things will have their own interplay. So people who have higher degree of power, for example, they might be exerting that power in their workplaces, are actually going to be taking that power dynamic back into their homes. That means making the fellow members of the family uncomfortable because they probably, most likely, or depends upon an individual, they probably have a different degree of preference when it comes to accepting power from others. So that's another one. The third one that comes to my mind is about the connections or the affection. Now, I personally, I'll call it, I'm the black sheep of my family. So I'm like the most isolated version of any family member we've had. So my sibling, my elder sister, usually if I go back into some of my memories in time, she and my parents would be very close knitted, right? They would talk, they spend hours together, and I would be the one sitting in my own room doing my own things. So imagine now we all get together in the same house for the longest period of time. What will happen? Especially a person like me, right? So is that too much affection good, or too less of an affection good or bad? Who decides that? It will only be decided when we all come together. We know and realize what are our degrees of preferences when it comes to that love, that affection, that concern. How's your day going? Well, I don't want to talk about it, right? Maybe somebody does, and somebody feels isolated, but somebody does not ask you how's your day been. So I think these are three major interpersonal behaviors that will be at play, and I've seen that. And I think Simi, you probably will be surprised by this. I've been doing tarot card reading for a while now,
Oh,
since about
really?
3 years. Yes, but I've been doing it in very much isolation by myself. So, and I also do, and I do a lot of life coaching, behavioral life coaching. And what I started doing lately was the tarot-based life coaching, behavioral life coaching. So one of my clients in Turkey, she was one of my, I think, most recent cases that is actually going through this time of separation because of COVID-19. So I did some readings for her last couple of weeks ago, and when I told her the readings, this is probably happening around in your relationships, and she broke down. She was into tears, and she simply said, the very fact that her partner, who was already under some addictions, started staying at home. He also got her engaged in certain addictions, which she never enjoyed, and it ended up actually in their separation. So there's so many instances. So not just at a behavior level, but at a spiritual level as well. So, people's values are not being aligned. People are feeling really out of place, really out of their natural behaviors, their natural comfort zones. They've been dragged out, in and out. Some people are enjoying it. Some people are just not. I've been working from home, and I think Alicia asked this question before we even started off. That what are we really doing at home? I can tell you, I'm overworking. I'm overworking. Today was a long day. I think it was a 9-hour day in which I conducted 2 webinars for our staff and helped two others, two other facilitators facilitate their webinars. And I'm exhausted. And when Simi called me this evening and I was cooking, she said, "Okay, do you want to be on this webinar or this entire conversation?" I took a second before I accepted that, but I really knew that we're going to enjoy this conversation. I'm happy to be here. I think I
Thank
spoke
you
too
so
much.
much, Sahil. And okay, I want to say something about what Sahil has said, but we'll do that later because my other family members are still waiting. So, Kamalji, is she still
Hanji
with us?
Simi. Hanji, thank you, Ji,
Hanji,
for giving me this
Kamalji.
opportunity.
So,
Thank you, Ji, for giving me this opportunity.
relationships, are they strengthening during this time or are they weakening? Are they breaking?
Actually, the way Sahil already, maybe he mentioned most of the things, even Harvinder also. Okay, human mind, like, it's nice to have a balance. When we are too much close or too much distance, then of course we feel like sometimes we feel suffocation, sometimes we feel like we're too apart. Now it's actually fun to watch how your mind works. I'm a kind of person who always aware kind of what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking in my body. And I'm with my son. He's older, younger one who's 25, and he's a pretty aware kid, very high conscious, and even when he walks and stuff, he's very present in his body. And when I watch him, he's my good teacher around me. He's very calm, centered. Then, because as a running spa, I was always busy, 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 but same time, I've been always meditating in my life too. Now I am really enjoying this time. I'm just sharing with you mine. Um, I have a more opportunity to be embodiment in my body, how I'm feeling, how's my connection with the plants, how's my connection with the earth, how's my connection with the water or space. When I go for my walk, I have a more opportunity. How's my connection with my food? How's my connection with my shower? How's my connection with this? How I am kind of experiencing my body. And when I see some other people, everyone sitting on the different place, because whatever we are suppressing inside, are we suppressing loss of energy? Because energy is one. We have a choice. We want to divide that energy into the fear, or we want to divide energy to the love. If we are very present with ourselves, with body, mind, spirit, then we aware when to say or what to say. I think that's a big awareness. Sometimes we say things in rush because we're coming from head. To me, when you come to your heart center, you're very calm and you're not imposing your own fear on your family members. At same time, when they try to impose their fears on you, you don't get offended. You're aware they had a bad day. It's not me. It's whatever happened in their mind. And you're fully open. Once they calm down, they, they will come to you. They will say sorry to you. And you don't even really need to say sorry Because sorry is not about the words. Sorry is how you really your body. You can tell person is already feeling that. I feel like I'm practicing what is beyond the words, not words, what is beyond the words energy. And I'm practicing being in silence. This is my
Sorry, I can't see anybody. Okay, now I can. Thanks, Dan. Um, so Sahil was saying that how different people have different expectations, and to them or to us, having all these people who have different personalities now coming together during this time, either those ideas and expectations will clash. Is that right, Sahil?
That's right. Yeah, I think more than expectations, it's about the preferences, if you
Preferences,
will.
because
It's a
personalities,
preference.
right? But
That's
if we
that's right.
know each other's personality, I think what Kamalji is saying is that this is good time to know yourself, where you are coming from. So if you can't go outside, go inside. I mean, I have never meditated. I have tried few times, but I was always rush, or I said, no, I can't do this. But now I'm getting time, connecting with people, meditating. And I think this time, especially when you have enough time to go for walks, I feel connected with the universe. So what Kamalji is saying is this is time to strengthen your relationship with yourself. Once it's strengthened with yourself, obviously then other people will sense it, because you're then releasing that energy which is affecting other people. And then I think that your relationships will be more harmonious. Am I right?
Yes, and well, if you ask me, yes,
No, I'm just
and
asking
probably
Kamalji.
oh
So I
yeah.
think this is what, and we will come back again. We will have another round, everybody. Ira is waiting patiently, and so is Alicia. So, Ira, what do you have to say?
I think from my experience, there have been two sides of it. So I know with my cousin who stays with me, it's been a very fulfilling bonding experience. We've learned to do so many new activities together. We're going on walks together, which earlier we wouldn't maybe have the time because our lives are so busy. But then I am a abuse victim myself, and I have been talking to a lot of people who come from families where domestic violence is an issue, or like abuse of different kinds is actually an issue. And for them, this is such a stressful time because one of the first things, even for me, is like if something goes wrong, where do you go? You can't go out. You can't talk to a friend. Who do you call? How do you feel safe? So now a lot of it comes from. I guess I have been trying to reach out to a lot of my friends and other people who I know maybe uh, not in the best place. I know for me it's safe now, but for other people that may not be the case. And to check in is so important. And we've been video chatting. Obviously, it's not the same, but at least they know that you're there, and at least they know that like someone will be there to open the door for them if things get out of hand. So I think it's a difficult time for some, whereas it can be very fulfilling for someone else. It just is very personal, and you just need to keep that in mind and talk to people, help them heal and help them get through it.
Thank you so much, Ira. Alicia?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what Ira just mentioned. First of all, thank you for bringing that up. It's so important for us to check on our loved ones, and just be a fellow human being. And I work in social services. I work at a transition house, and I can tell firsthand that the services that we are providing are compromised right now. Right? We're not full-bodied. We're not there that we were pre-COVID times. So that puts our clients at risk. It puts the most vulnerable people at risk. And a lot of times people find salvage, they find comfort and solitude outside of their home when they're away from their partners. And so this is a time where you're going to have to find some way to figure things out when you're indoors, when you're surrounded around, a partner who is dangerous, violent, verbally abusive, right? So again, it's time for us to check on each other and, provide resources that are going to help them. Um, but also for me, my experience, it was interesting because I think as the months have gone by, I have gotten so comfortable. It's like I found a system where I'm like happy with how things are going with my relationship. I live with my grandparents, my parents, and my brother. At the beginning, it was shaky. I was getting used to the having to see them all the time. My my freedom, my expression comes from outside of the house. And so there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of like stress. And then, also what Kamal touched upon, when you start looking inward and you start seeing, like, they're not stressful people. They're not putting stress on you. There's something that is going on that is giving you stress. Maybe you're cooped up at home. You need to find those things that allow you freedom and agency. And that's why you have to be creative during these times, going for walks, meditating, writing. So that's what I've been finding, and I've been pretty happy with the results.
Thank you, Alicia. Harvinder?
I totally hear everybody, like what Sahil and Kamal and Alicia and Ira has said. It's just amazing how we all have the same thing, but we have different ways of coming to it. One of the good things about this time has been for me personally, my family, is that my boys were always fighting. They were always fighting, but now they're actually getting along way better than I assumed they would. I was a little bit worried when this first happened, and I thought, oh my God, there's going to be a zoo in the house here. But I got them on a project to start with right away, March 23rd, 24th. And then since then, they've just taken over and completed 3-4 different projects. They're working on their fifth one today now. And it's nice to see that. And the younger one is cooking more, and that's great to see. And they're actually laughing. I mean, I think me and my husband have become their joke now because we are at home. I mean, my husband works full time, but in the evening, so they see me and they got someone else to make fun of because they're around mom now, and the English is a third language, and she's an immigrant, so a lot of immigrant jokes on me. A lot of your English is not good and things like that. But it's nice to see that I'm actually enjoying being around them. I'm so thankful for this thing because I can hang out with my kids and I can sit with them, and they're 25 and 22 and a half. They're always out, school, work, they both work, they go to school. So you never see them. But now I get to hang out with them. So I'm like, hey, you want to see whatever stupid movie the 10th time? That's fine. I get to hang out with you on the sofa next to you. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm enjoying that a lot with them. Yeah.
Now is the time to see The Notebook.
Oh God, Notebook. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's long movie, right?
Oh, I think we are more into the shoot 'em up movies, fun ones. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying about. I'm glad that Ada brought that thing up, and Kamal about looking inwards. I think that's a very key point because for some people, in being in a relationship that's kind of shaky, or the man has a higher more authority in the relationship, more control. It's in those relationships, I think, where the women will, or the man, whoever's in control, will kind of go look inwards and go, okay, where's my life? Where's it going? What do I really want? And I think for some people, that's an eye opener, that they think about giving them the time to go, if this is it, you see your partner more often, and then you decide whether this works for you or not.
That's fantastic. Now, we started the conversation with how lots of people are on dating sites and because they're fed up with each other or there are fights, there's domestic violence. And we have a life coach with us, actually, two of them. Kamalji teaches meditation and she also helps build relationship stronger with your partner through meditation or self reflection. And then we have Sahil, life coach. Sahil, any advice for those people who are irritated with each other or who don't know how to handle this stress, I guess?
Uh, that's a great point you've just brought up, Simi. Uh, and I think I'll go back to initially what you mentioned. You picked on this very correctly, which is about understanding personalities. Um, at this time, I think it's a blessing in disguise, at least in my perspective. It really gives you that time to self-reflect and really look back into things that haven't been going right and what has been going right, and the big question is why. And like one of my own mentors my own trainer in life coaching as well, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, he also mentioned he has a book as well which says, "What got you here won't get you there." So I think that phrase always sticks around in my mind a lot. So from that perspective, I think it gives, if people are patient and they really, really want to stick together, if there are still reconcilable elements into the relationship left, then I think I would say advice or suggestion is to really look into your own self first, start within. What has not been working? Why are you feeling uncomfortable? If there is a level of uncomfortability, what are the triggers that are probably you are reflecting onto others and probably getting triggered from others' behaviors, because it's always us who are getting irritated because something that's lacking inside of us is being demonstrated or being reflected back from the other person's behavior, and then you feel more agitated because that's the element that you lack in yourself. So I think there are a lot of questions for us to answer, and always recommend there are multiple free online I think assessments that are available. I know some people will find it funny that, now we have to really go and take assessments to understand our own selves. The answer is yes. If you're confused, I think these scientifically validated tools have been created because of a reason. And if people can leverage those assessments at the right moments, or connect with people like, I don't know, other life coaches, Kamal, myself, anyone else, doesn't matter. But if they can find those areas that they can potentially work upon, then they must take that action. So the more you understand your inner drives, your inner motivations, and the reasons why do you behave the way you behave, and why is the other person doing the same, I think you have better chance of getting a better interpersonal relationship. Again, things might look very different individually. Every relationship is different, and not everything at the end of the life or end of the day is reconcilable. I would say that in today's world, and people have always they have the free will to make choices in the long run, especially if they are benefiting both the parties. So that's what I would say. Seek help if you can't, if you're feeling confused, and there'll definitely be moments of confusion. And I would tell you, it probably sounds funny enough. Right now, I'm kind of trying to bring in astrology a little bit. Saturn just got retrograde into Capricorn in Vedic astrology, and people are going crazy, and the world is going to go crazy for the next 5 months, I can tell you, till September 29th. And you will see a lot of separations happening, a lot of course correction happening globally and in our personal lives, in our personal relationships as well. So giving you a hint of what's going to happen in the coming few months.
Sahil, isn't it three planets that are in retrograde?
Yes, it's Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter. All of that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but we are not worried because we have good life coaches with us. if you guys want to meditate, we have another session right after this one, 7 o'clock. Parminder ji is going to give us good session. He's from Victoria, and Kamal ji is the one who made me join that group. So my first session was on Tuesday. Today is the second one. So you guys are more than welcome to join us. We will be live again next Thursday. Now, Ira and Alicia, you guys want to share something?
Sure.
Ira?
Yes, one of the, and I'm sure the life coaches here will agree, one of the tools that I want to, I guess, leave our listeners and viewers with is a gratitude journal. It's
Can you
so
speak a
helpful.
little louder? Yeah.
Gratitude journal. Gratitude journal is so helpful because it
Yes.
helps me sit through the list of like everything good that happened through the day and also take something that's negative throughout the day and turn it into a positive or think about what was positive about that one aspect. So even right now, as I was saying, oh, I have been a abuse victim, in my mind, it's naturally shifting it to abuse survivor. So it's a much more powerful word, but like slowly it really wires your brain to think a lot more positively and actually look at yourself in a very positive light, look at others in a very positive light, because a lot of times others may be showing their love in different ways and doing small things to make it nice for us, but we just don't notice it or we forget about it very quickly. But like small things like she made me a sandwich, or he came and he cut the grass today outside without me asking. Like small things which may go unnoticed and can like make you think that, oh, they're not supportive. That perspective may change and like help it grow. So yeah.
Very true. Thank you so much, Ira. Alicia?
Yeah, so I'll just keep it simple. I think the issue that you're having right now is communication problem. We are reacting to what the other person is saying. And maybe we are looking at ourselves, but to work with what we are with what the conclusion is. So I think what we need to do first is to calm our mind, get grounded, um, so that whatever situational things are happening, we are not reacting. We're taking a step back, and we're not attacking, we're not defending. We're more problem solving, we're solution focused. And that can be meditation, that can be walking away from an argument, coming back when you have the means and you have the mindset to actually communicate. So that's what I have to say about this, because night and day difference with your relationships, with yourself, and your day is better. Take that time.
Now, quickly, one by one, I want everyone to share what have they discovered about themselves during this time. Is there something new that you have discovered? Like all of us are learning every day, but is there something that you have discovered? It could be neighbor next door, somebody living and you didn't know that person was healer or something like that. Or it could be about yourself, right? So, Harvinder.
The new thing that, like I said earlier, I'm discovering is one, what I need to do, like the young ladies here had said, going back inside and looking inside, reflecting on how you are thinking and what you want to do. Like I said earlier, my kids, I'm enjoying my time with them. So I'm really grateful to see that they can actually communicate with each other so that when I die one day, they'll still be talking to each other. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. Sahil?
I think for me, once, first of all, working from home, I thought initially that I would not like it, and quite honestly, I've started to slowly like it now, for the very reason I don't have to see my boss every day. So it makes me more productive, to be honest. I mean, it just makes me way more productive. Secondly, it also gave me a slight more chance to save my time that I was spending on commute and rather spend more time and actually focusing on tarot. And I've been actually developing my own deck of tarot cards. I'm still working on them. So I think just it kind of boosted my own creativity. Because I've always craved, you know that semi much well. So I keep looking at different ideas. You and I both keep fighting for newer ideas and putting them out. So it just gave me, I think, some more time to really reflect and see what else can I do with myself and my whatever I have today that life has given me. And secondly, before we move to, I think, Kamal, and tagging on to what Alicia said about communication and meditation, and she used the word grounding. I think that's very important. Thanks for mentioning that, Alicia. And putting it on actually to Kamalji. Kamalji, if you can actually give out some techniques that people can use to how to ground themselves in these challenging times, that'll be awesome.
Oh, thank you. Sure. Simi, do we have a time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, to me, actually, I started very early age. I always more connected to my spirit, I would say, than my, like society side, like my human side. I would say breathing. Breathing is big. Take your breath towards to your root chakra. When you follow your breath towards to your root chakra, then follow the breath back towards your crown chakra. Go like this. Whenever you feel like this is a practice I do with my students. Uh, with the breathing, just take your awareness concentration down and come back up. Just watch yourself, watch your breath from bottom to top, because this is all alignment of chakras, right? When we are centered here, then we feel centered. Mostly energy moves to head. We need to bring that energy in whole body, because we are not thinking only with the head. Our second chakra give message to the heart chakra give message to the brain then mind, right? We are thinking about, we think we only thinking with the brain, because it's now even scientifically it's coming now day by day. Heart is way more powerful than our even brain. This is a practice, and calm yourself down. Try to be just center most of the time. Even when you're busy during the day, take pause every half an hour, 2 minutes, look within. Doesn't matter how busy you are, just take pause. Even go to the bathroom if you don't have a time. I feel this is not a bad time, like if you're busy, I understand, but still take a little pause. And third, whenever persons say to you something you triggered, I know sometimes we're too busy, we answer right away. Instead of reacting, respond. And separate behavior and person are two separate things. Person, all are spark of the divine, all are expression of the divine. I feel if we separate two things, person and person's behavior, we won't attack the person, we won't blame the person, then we sit back and think. I think this is a kind of good for busy schedule. But right now at this moment, we can do anything. We can go to the nature, we can go to meditate, or just be present with yourself, with your food, with your water, whatever you're drinking. This is how.
Thank you so much. Ira?
Thank you.
Thank you. I think for me, it has been a very big learning experience in that I naturally do not go to routine, and I probably should, and I should work harder at it. And how important it is to maintain that throughout the day. Because there have been nights when I've been like talking to a friend, and it's like the entire night you're talking, and then the next day you're going to work, and it's like, okay, I'm working from home. It shouldn't be this way. I should still prioritize sleep and manage a schedule. So I guess like that's the big learning experience for me. But other than that, also cutting work out at 5, because I feel like now I work a lot longer. Like I think Sahil, you mentioned earlier, I feel like I'm working all the time. When that wasn't the case when I was actually going to work. When I shut it down and came back home, it was done for the day. So that's also something I learned, that I think it's very important to cut it out for your well-being.
Okay. Alicia,
Yeah.
something you discovered?
Yeah, so for me, I think that I have enjoyed the little things with my family. And that's something I've never experienced because, you're busy, you come home, you eat, sleep, you leave for work or you go to school, and you come home. If someone asks you to do something, you kind of do it begrudgingly because maybe you're tired or you don't have time. And now everything has slowed and come to not a pause, but it's just kind of slowed down. So much so that I have this time to like do these things, and there's no pressure for me to do it quickly. And I find that the things I do, there's so much more quality to it. Like with anyone, like let's say with my grandfather or my dad or my mom, I am taking the time and I feel like I'm more present because I'm not thinking about the next thing I need to do. I know that I have all day to do this if I want to. And I've been creating some really genuine memories with them. And oh, I love it. Like this is the time to do this kind of stuff, right? Reaching out to your loved ones, like connecting with them on FaceTime. I talked to my mom's dad, so my nana. I talked to him for like almost an hour on the phone. I would have never done that, you know? So it's things like that. It really bonds you, and I think that's something that we should all take away from this time.
Alicia, you know what? These days, when I go for walks, it reminds me of my childhood days.
Oh
That's
yeah.
when we
Oh.
used to sit together, all of us, even outside the houses. My neighborhood is quite safe. We keep the distance. At the same time, we communicate with each other, and we are still helping each other if somebody needs something. We are just a phone call away. So it's
Yeah.
reminding me, it has taken me into the past. And this is, I think, I'm taking this as nature's best gift to us, to all
Yes.
of us. So otherwise, we would have never stopped, we would have never paused, and we would have
Yes.
never spent this much time with our family members. My relationship, knock on the wood, it has improved with my children. We get time, we are talking, we are laughing. At times, they make, just like Harvinder said, they make fun of me, which is fine, and but we have bonded, so it's helping. I have learned new recipes. I make so many things now that I never tried. Now I have time. So yeah, anyone else?
Uh,
Somebody wants to say
I
something before we say bye to each other?
I am learning how to make besan. You know what besan is, right? I've never
Yes.
made it. I learned how to make that. I learned how to make so many things for my kids because I love them. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I don't need this stuff. But you're right. We're learning new things now.
I have made saag for the first time. So I have made three
Oh,
times
Oh.
now.
wow.
I can make makki ki
Wow.
roti now. So I'm so
All
proud of
right. We're
myself.
going to Simi's house for dinner.
Anytime. We are doing actually cooking show, and I have my friend who's a chef. He'll be coming to our backyard, and all of you are more than welcome. We won't touch each other. We will have masks, and we'll do the cooking show in our backyard.
That's
Sounds like a
amazing.
Understood?
plan? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it for today, and we will see you guys next Thursday. This Sunday, you will see Alicia and Dan and Dustin in Sweet Culture. Don't forget that. And also, if you guys want one on one conversations or interviews, you have something to say that you think will make big impact on someone's life, please call us. Call Dan, call any of our team members, Ira, Alicia, anybody, and talk to us. And we can talk to you through Zoom, or you can come to the studio. We'll keep maintain the distance. All right. Stay safe, stay home, and be good to others and to yourself. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.